Can you summon Judge Oakley? Tell him we're feeling it.
He's here. He's waiting.
See,
he walked by. He's the reason why we came out. Yeah.
We'll do Mr. Thompson's sentencing. Absolutely. Your Honor, let's do Mr. Yanik Thompson's sentencing if that would please the court.
When did Mr. Hadley start regulating case calling out here? I realized
I'm in two courts. I thought it was all with you this morning, Your Honor. My apologies.
I know you said restitution. I was like, there's no restitution in courtroom number 1 today. That means, are we done being?
I'm done, Your Honor.
Okay.
Show's over. I'm ready to start.
Show's over. Mr. Thompson.
Good morning, Your Honor.
2-3.
Please go ahead. Sorry.
You get rusty over the weekend. 2306160D, State of Michigan versus Yanik Thompson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley, on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Yanik Thompson, who's staying to my right. Please state your name for the record.
Yanik Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Today is the day and time set for sentencing in this matter. Excuse me. There was an offense date of July 30th, 2023 in Van Buren Township, at which time Mr. Thompson was charged with operating while intoxicated. He appeared before this court on October 5th, 2023, and entered a plea of guilty to the added count of operating while visibly impaired. He was referred to the court's probation department for the development of a sentence recommendation that was done by probation officer Anthony Grant. The court has reviewed that recommendation along with the ACE questionnaire results, the needs assessment, the police report from the date of the incident, Mr. Thompson's criminal history, and his driving record. Mr. Hadley, have you had an opportunity to review the PSI with your client?
In fact, Your Honor, we've reviewed the PSI. We have no corrections, additions, or deletions to make. We've also reviewed the probation department's recommendation. We would ask the court to adopt the recommendation at this time. And we're prepared for a very brief allocution of the court.
The court's prepared to receive it.
Mr. Thompson and I just briefly met, ran through everything. He's owned this offense head on, made all the proper steps from defense counsel's position to put himself in a place where he will not be likely for any recidivism. I would note that he is employed. Again, looking to put this behind him and we're really talking about down the road. It's going to work in a few years from now. So again, we would look forward and say we imagine this is going to be a very successful probationer, and we appreciate the court's time.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson, is there anything you'd like to say, sir?
No, ma'am.
The court, having reviewed the documents referenced earlier, having heard allocution from Mr. Hadley, the court will adopt the recommendation made by probation officer Anthony Grant and place Mr. Thompson on 9 months of reporting probation with the associated oversight fees and costs. Assess a fine of $300, cost of $100, $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state costs, $20 fund fee, and restitution to Van Buren Township of $125. That's a total of $1,030. Mr. Thompson, you will also be required to complete 24 hours of community service at a nonprofit organization and provide documentation to the probation department. If you don't already have a relationship with a nonprofit where you can get your hours done, reach out to Mr. Grant. There are files downstairs with opportunities for you to complete that community service. You will enroll in substance abuse treatment or alcohol education within 30 days of today's date. And again, provide the documentation to Mr. Grant as directed. You will not purchase, possess, consume any alcoholic beverages or non-prescription controlled or mood-altering substances without the court's approval, and you will submit to random testing a minimum of twice per month or as otherwise directed by the probation department. You will make equal payments on the fines and costs that have just been imposed in this matter. And Mr. Thompson, what this court always tells people is if you're having some issues, if you're struggling even a little bit in being compliant with the terms of your sentence, reach out to Mr. Grant when you know that there's something going on. Don't wait until you fail to either complete one of your obligations, make payments, or complete any of your community service. By the time you're that far behind, Mr. Grant has already reached out to the court to ask for you to come back for show cause hearing, okay? Do you have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Grant will be in touch with you. There will be paperwork for you to sign to formally put you on probation and set up the payment plan, okay?
Thank you.
Have a good day, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is 230013 SD. This is State of Michigan versus Michael John Young. Good morning.
Gregory Bulahanis on behalf of Michael Young, Your Honor.
State your name for me, please, sir.
Michael John Young, ma'am.
Thank you. Today is the day and time set for sentencing in this matter. It was an offense dated February 22nd, 2022. Van Buren Township found Mr. Young to be operating while intoxicated or impaired or under the influence of a controlled substance listed as a second offense. He appeared before this court on June 14, 2023, and entered a plea of guilty to operating while intoxicated as a first offense. As is this court's policy, Mr. Young was referred to the probation department for interview and development of a sentence recommendation. The court has received that recommendation from probation officer Shannon Rapp. She notes that this is actually, at the time, was Mr. Young's third drinking and driving offense. She's also provided, Ms. Rapp has also provided the court with a copy of the police report, letters from Skywood Recovery Treatment Center, Mr. Young's criminal history, his driving record. This court has received a huge packet of information in letter form from Anne Marie Hermerick that was sent to the Muskegon District Court, Osceola District Court, Bentonville Court in Arkansas, along with this court. Mr. Bolahanis, have you had the opportunity to review the PSI with your client?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. There's a number of corrections, if I may address those.
Absolutely.
Your Honor, on page 1, if you'll note, his military experiences has none. That's incorrect. He's an honorably discharged veteran. He served our country for 4 years. That's the first one.
What branch of the service?
Army, Your Honor.
Thank you for your service, Mr. Young.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Second issue on page 1, Your Honor, is that my client advises me that these criminal domestic violence case, he indicates that that's an error. That's not supposed to be on his record out of Roosevelt Park, dated 3/20/21.
Not on his record is non-public.
It's deferred. It was dismissed.
Yes.
It was dismissed. On page 2, Your Honor, the pending charge indicates that there's a pending charge out of Arizona. It's actually Arkansas. And what Mr. Young has been doing is he's hired an attorney there. He hasn't been able to get the warrant pulled because he can't leave the state of Michigan because he's under the jurisdiction of the court at this time. But he has hired an attorney for that. And then with respect to Kent County, Your Honor, my understanding is that Mr. Young has not been charged in Kent County with an OWI third offense, pending felony. He was arrested. He has been charged with operating while driver's license suspended or revoked. And expired plate, but there hasn't been a resolution with respect to that. So I wanted to make sure to correct those actual inaccuracies, Your Honor. And I'm ready to allocate this one.
Please proceed.
Thank you so much. I think, Your Honor, as you indicated that you have a substantial package from Skywood, I think we might have provided some of that information as well. If there's anybody that is meant to be in sobriety court, I think Mr. Young is the person that should be in sobriety court. He's been attempting to fight his demons for a number of years now. He's been in Skywood Recovery, which is a sobriety living house for months. And so he's trying to take the right steps. And I think he needs more structure. And I think, you know, the needs test certainly indicates that he needs outpatient counseling. But, you know, I think he probably needs outpatient with intensive aftercare as well. And the needs test says he needs outpatient counseling, but the recommendation is for jail time. I think the easy thing is to put him in jail. The easy choice is to put him in jail. The more difficult choice is to try to structure a sentence that would not only benefit him, but this community as well. If he were to serve 93 days in jail, then the court would lose jurisdiction. You know, his sentence would be over. I think it's much more beneficial if he's ordered to do a sobriety court. And he was investigating that, and you know, we've had a number of issues. We've tried to assist him with that in Grand Rapids, and he's moved back to this area of the state, and so all the work that went into trying to get him into the Grand Rapids sobriety court went for naught. I, as you do, have a huge file, which is 4 times the normal size for an OWI case. We've been working hard trying to do the right thing by Mr. Young, and I think the right thing in this case is to put him on an alcohol tether for at least 6 months. Have him during that time require him to enter a sobriety court. And the reason I say this, and the court's well aware of this, I believe, is that once a person's shown to go through sobriety court and has graduated, the recidivism rate is substantially lower than any other type of probationary approach. In addition, what the probation report doesn't indicate, and which was just recently conveyed to me, is that Mr. Young has a job prospect, a solid job prospect, a good job prospect, which he hasn't had in years, and that's for construction project manager. He's done the interview, and by all accounts, he did very well in the interview. If he were to do sobriety court, that would allow him still to possibly be a productive member of society while addressing his demons as well. So I'd ask the court to not adopt the recommendation. I'd ask the court to order that he enroll in sobriety court, you know, preferably this one, and be on an alcohol tether for at least 6 months, because what that does is it not only protects him, it protects society as well, because it's beyond the 93 days.
Anything else, Mr. Bolahanis?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Rapp, is there anything you'd like to say?
Speaking of sobriety court, did you want me to talk about that or no, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
As of right now, the last address I had is in Muskegon, so he would not qualify for our sobriety court, so he could not enter that. I know you indicated that he did move, but I'm unaware of his new address. So he would not qualify for ours as of the information provided.
Anything else, Ms. Rapp?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, his current address is in Oakland County. In Novi.
Ms. Rapp, does that change anything from your perspective?
No, Your Honor, we're only allowed to take Wayne County residents for our sobriety court.
Thank you. Mr. Young, was there anything you want to say on your own behalf, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I understand that I have a problem, and I've worked on numerous times to try and correct that problem. And I do need help, and I'm really trying to put my life back together. I have a lot of friends who are supporting me in that. You know, again, I feel that incarceration would just really set me back. You know, I'm willing to, you know, the electronic monitoring, probation, any kind of drug testing, anything necessary to really to get help, outpatient therapy. You know, I just need this now, and I just you know, as my attorney stated, some structure would be extremely beneficial for me.
Your Honor, he did indicate to me just before he started to speak to the court that he'd be willing to move into Wayne County from Oakland County in order to enroll in the sports.
Excuse me. Is there anything else, Mr. Bolahanis?
The only other thing I want to mention, Your Honor, is it's unfortunate that Mr. Young, you know, he has an MBA. He's honorably discharged from the service. He has a lot going for him, but he has this demon that is just not allowing him to, you know, realize his potential with the background he has.
The court has had the opportunity again to review all of the information that was provided both by Ms. Rapp, which was, and the letter that was received with the attachments. Here from Mr. Bolahanis this morning, but of great concern to the court is the number of offenses that Mr. Young has had in recent times. The fact that he had a blood alcohol content of 0.192 at the date of the arrest in Van Buren Township, the fact that he gave officers difficulty during that interaction, the fact that the Arkansas case has an offense date of February 3rd, 2022, and then this case in Van Buren Township was less than 3 weeks later, February 22nd, 2022. The court has concerns about Mr. Young not reoffending and not acting in his own best interest. The court will adopt the recommendation of Shannon Rapp and place Mr. Young in the custody with Wayne County Jail for a period of 90 days. The court will also impose fines and costs as follows: $500 fine, $100 in costs, $75 crime victims fee, $125 in restitution to Van Buren Township, $50 bench warrant fee, $15 administrative fee. That's $865 in addition to the incarceration time. Mr. Bolahanis, please understand the court heard that Mr. Young has retained counsel in Arkansas, and if application or requests have been made to this court to allow him to travel to address another criminal matter, the court would have granted that. But the fact that between these February dates And now that request has not been made, makes the court concerned that Mr. Mr. Young was not prepared to take up addressing that Arkansas case in a timely fashion. That being said, the court will have Mr. Young surrender to court officers in this courtroom for processing.
Thank you. Your Honor, can he make a phone call before he's placed into custody?
Your Honor, we can have him make that call right inside.
Thank you, Officer Garcia. Anything else, Mr. Bohannes?
No, may I just?
I was gonna say, if you want to continue to speak to him, there will be an opportunity. There's a phone booth out in the hallway where he'll be able to talk to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Mr. Clayton is here, but his attorney's not here, which is making me concerned. This is 2307280D. This is Van Buren Township versus Jacob Haney. May I have your appearances, please?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Counsel Schwartz representing Mr. Haney in this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz.
Thank you.
Good morning. Your name, sir?
Jacob Haney.
Thank you, sir. Today is a day and time set for sentencing in this matter. There was an offense date in this case of September 9, 2023 in Van Buren Township, at which time Mr. Haney was charged with operating while intoxicated. He appeared before this court on November 2nd, 2023, and entered a plea of guilty to the reduced count of operating while visibly impaired. The matter was referred to the probation department for development of a sentence recommendation that was done by probation officer Anthony Grant. The court has had the opportunity to review that recommendation along with the probation information sheet, the ACE questionnaire results, the needs assessment, and the police report from the date of the incident. The probation department has also forwarded Mr. Haney's criminal history and his driving record. Have you had the opportunity to review that information with your client, sir?
I have, Your Honor.
Anything, any additions, corrections, or deletions, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client?
Just to say, we accept the recommendation, Your Honor. I want this court to know that from the moment this young man came in my office, he's been very forthright and very contrite. He was candid, as I told him to be, not that I would have needed to, with probation, and told them about the fact that he smoked marijuana regularly. He stopped after he came in my office on November 2nd, the pre-trial date. He hasn't had a coke since, if you will. And again, his alcohol consumption is sporadic, but obviously too much sometimes. So again, he accepts the recommendation, and trust me, no court in the state's going to see this young man again.
Anything you'd like to say on your own behalf, sir?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. This court's concern is that at the time that the Public Safety Department engaged Mr. Haney, he was in a vehicle that was fully functional. His foot was on the brake. He was on a freeway off-ramp. It sounds like any number of things could have happened that would have negatively impacted the lives of not just public safety, but anybody who happened to be crossing his path on Ecorse Road at that night. And Mr. Haney, I'll take your attorney at his word that this is not representative of how you typically live your life.
Absolutely not.
And that not only will this court not see you again, that you don't intend to be participant in any additional court proceedings, in any other court with this same type of offense. Again, the court has reviewed the recommendation of probation officer Anthony Grant and will adopt that recommendation, placing Mr. Haney on 12 months of reporting probation with all associated oversight fees. Impose a fine of $300, cost of $100. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee. There's $125 restitution of Van Buren Township. Mr. Haney will complete 24 hours of community service at a nonprofit organization and provide documentation to the probation department as directed. If you don't already have a relationship with a nonprofit where you can get those hours done, Mr. Grant maintains files of organizations that you would be able to complete these 24 hours. You will enroll in substance abuse treatment or alcohol education within the next 30 days and follow recommendations from that program, providing documentation to Mr. Grant. You will not purchase, possess, consume any alcoholic beverages or prescription controlled or mood altering substances without this court's approval, and you will submit to random ETG testing a minimum of twice per month or as otherwise directed by probation. You will make payments on these fines, costs, and oversight fees in regular intervals. Mr. Grant, I'm sorry.
I didn't interrupt.
No, you're not interrupting.
My client would like to pay in full the probation oversight costs and the fines and costs today.
I don't know how long it would take them to put that information in. The total would be $1,150. What I was about to say next was that Mr. Grant will have documents for you to sign to formally place you on probation. He will be able to help you make that payment of the fines, costs, and oversight fees. Again, if during the time of your probation, you have any struggles, anything you need assistance with, either in completing your sentence or anything, your sentence, or anything that Mr. Grant might otherwise be helpful, please reach out to him sooner rather than later. It's a lot easier for the court to assist in a small slip versus something major that brings you back. Anything else on behalf of your client, sir?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. That concludes this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor,
The thick ones for Ms. Rapp. Yes, sir.
just reference Mr. Martinez. I don't know if you heard, I did reschedule him. I received notification this morning that his father had passed away. So the attorney was asking to reschedule, so it's been rescheduled.
Thank you.
Yep.
This is 22BL00867 AOD. This is City of Belleville versus Tomas Martinez. Mr. Grant has just advised the court that this sentence has been rescheduled. Did you happen to bring that new date up with you,
Yeah,
please?
it's gonna be the 8th, January 8th,
Do you have a time?
8:30 a.m.
Mr. Clayton,
Yes, ma'am.
sir, your case was scheduled at 9 o'clock. We have not seen Mr. Adams as of yet, or the prosecutor. We have not received any sentencing memo or request from either one of them. If you would sit tight, the court will get back to you in just a moment. Were you expecting Mr. Adams this morning?
To be honest, I didn't know what the process was going to be. I was just showing up. So I didn't know who had to be present.
I'm sorry, Mr. Clayton, let me ask it a different way. Since you last appeared here in court, have you been in contact with the attorney regarding the need to appear this morning?
Yes, with the asterisk, we've talked about preparing a statement to the court before the sentencing process, but we didn't discuss I believe he knows. I don't know. He knows today is the day and the time.
If you want to take a moment and reach out to his office, that might be helpful.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. What's going on?
Nothing.
I'm glad they're not here because I don't.
Too early for that.
4 weeks ago.